You are Locked On Dodgers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, welcome into the Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also listen wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for both ESPN, where I worked with the one and only Dave Singer, who has joined me tonight for the first segment of the program. Thank you for jumping in there, Dave. Long-time, lifelong Dodger fan. I'm a huge Dodger fan, but you take it to another level. The term diehard, I think, is thrown around a little bit too frequently, but you definitely fit that bill for me. So I'm glad you were able and willing to jump on after the Dodgers get punched in the mouth here, 11-4 the final. People in the chat are not happy and ready to write this series off. Like Victor is coming unglued. And of course, Victor is putting it all on Dave Roberts. This is on effing Roberts. We were up 2-0. He should have taken out the second pitcher before we could all see he didn't have command. I look, how many times have we seen a lot of these medium to high leverage guys in the bullpen come in and be a little shaky? Kopech has done it. Hudson has done it, and then get out unscathed. That was a bad pitch. Volpe took advantage of it. I didn't think that the Yankees were just going to roll over. Did you think when it was 2-0, Dave, that this was over?
No, the World Series. Okay, newsflash. It's hard to win a World Series. Okay. Yeah. The Dodgers in their history have won 7. Okay. It's hard. It is a marathon in full best 4 out of 7, but it's these matchups that, and you know what, whatever happens, Dave Roberts is going to be blamed because you can't fire a team. And it's the easiest baseball fan thing to do is just say it's Dave Roberts' fault. We've gone through this, and basically this whole postseason, he has made so many great decisions throughout this whole 3 sets of series. The bullpen has executed, and Roberts has put him in a place to succeed. This is hard, and the Yankees are the American League champions. I didn't expect him to be done. It was so early.
Yeah, the thing about this for me is the fact that we came into this game with confidence on a bullpen day is based on Dave Roberts' execution, along with Mark Pryor and the entire coaching staff, the nerds in the basement and Anthony Freeman and all the way down, because those guys have executed bullpen days in the postseason in high leverage games successfully. So we're not like, oh, it's a bullpen day, we're screwed. No, we're like, that's okay, we're fine, because we've done it before. Look, game 2 against the Mets, the matinee on a Monday when they got shelled, similar situation to this, right? It was going to be challenging. I thought, look, we're capable of winning a game on a bullpen day because we've done it before, but the probability is very low. And it requires so many things to go right. The moving parts are so many, right? That you have, everything has to go right. And the fact that they got to within 1, I think, is not about the pitching. The reason they lost this game to me is because guys like Shohei Ohtani and Max Muncy have been completely absent. Max Muncy has been garbage, and Shohei Ohtani, as Victor has pointed out here, Victor, again, lots of good points. I agree with some of them, but not all of them. I'm sorry, but Ohtani needs to wake up or get him out. He's been reaching and looking at bad pitches this whole postseason. I don't know about that, but at least in the World Series, he's been awful. And now with the shoulder, you think it's hampering him a little bit?
Yeah, it has to. He's pressing. I think what Dave Roberts is thinking right now, it's almost like he's earned the right to try to be out there, but at some point he's hurting. He could be hurting the team. You can almost put Austin Barnes behind the plate, Will Smith, as the DH, and because
Pages, maybe
Pages, exactly, and just give Will Smith, even though he hit a home run tonight, he has been struggling too. And I'm glad he went the other way on a home run today. But, I equate what happened tonight too a little bit with Game 5 in the NLCS against the Mets when the Mets started scoring runs in that matinee game, and they went with Honeywell, and Honeywell did such a great job extending, so they didn't have to take their high leverage relievers and put them in the game. And Robert's got a lot of crap for that. He got a lot of crap because they were saying, "Hey, we still got a chance. We still got a chance." We're playing the long game.
Yeah,
it's
forest for the trees.
Pete, I equate this with this bullpen and the pitching staff with an NFL running game. It's like it's almost like running the ball, getting almost the offensive, the line tired just because you keep on running the ball, and eventually it's gonna hurt them. Right now, the Dodgers have the bullpen, a fresh bullpen of great relievers ready to go tomorrow in New York. I think Flaherty's going to be on the mound against Garrett Cole, and it's going to be you never know what you're going to get with Flaherty. But man, I'm hoping he comes up with maybe 4 or 5 solid innings, 1 run allowed, and hey, we pass it off to the a bullpen full of our high leverage relievers.
Yeah, I agree that this is, my wife was like, she's gotten into the series, right? And has at times gets a little too caught up in every pitch. That was in the dirt. What's wrong with this guy? Get him out of there. And I'm like, calm down, relax. You can't throw strikes over the middle every time, you know? So when she sees that this game is 11-4, she's like, I'm done. I'm not interested anymore. They should have won tonight, and so forth and so on. I'm like, because I said, look, I was kind of like, look, this is a bullpen day. This is not a surprise. This is not unexpected. She's like, what's a bullpen day? So I explained it to her from the standpoint of, like, he didn't want to waste his high leverage guys. He said, you guys are out, and we threw Honeywell to the wolves. And, look, you could look at it from the standpoint that they didn't waste the high leverage arms, as you pointed out, and hopefully maybe the Yankees just got tired of swinging the bats and running around the bases, and maybe a little bit of overconfidence set in like it did with the Mets after Game 2. But look, the Dodgers, you know how many times they have lost 4 or more games in a row this entire season? Two, and that was in the first half. One of them was in that series in Philadelphia where they just looked atrocious. I was like, This team is terrible. When the Philadelphia Phillies just smacked them in the mouth for 3 games. And then before that, they lost 5 in a row. So it's early in the season. They didn't do it once in the second half. And I know the Yankees are a, very, very good team and very capable. And I know that with Garrett Cole coming to the mound, he's a tough beat. But Jack Flaherty, again, with 4 days rest, you could say I'm concerned because last time with 4 days rest, he wasn't good. His velocity was down, but he wasn't 100% either. Didn't they say he was sick or had a cold or something?
Yeah, he was sick. That's right.
So, even with just the 4 days rest, look, I came this close, Dave, to saying it was over yesterday, but I wouldn't say it because I knew it's never over till it's over, to steal Yogi Berra's famous line. It ain't over till it's over.
You respect the game. You know how hard it is when you think about it, how in the hell are the Dodgers doing this? How did they get this far with basically without 2 aces that they had? They had Glasnow as their ace. Glasnow was their legitimate number 1 guy. He's done for the year. Gavin Stone is put in the role of, Gavin Stone is our number 1 guy.
Gets hurt.
He goes down. We're doing this without 2 aces. I mean, the fact that we got Flaherty, Yamamoto, and Walker Buehler in a bullpen game, and we're winning 3-1 in the World Series. That's bananas to me.
It's house money. Yeah, it is. It's true. Look, you can't look at it any other way. I'd love to know, Jose, what you think could have been done differently by Dave Roberts tonight. This is the insane idea of Roberts to throw away games is going to catch up with him. What other option did he have? Right? Did you think Ohtani was going to pitch? I don't, this Dave Roberts is the reason the Dodgers are here. They are here because of him, not in spite of him. You guys are out of control. Go start harping on the USC Trojans that they need to fire Lincoln Riley, because that's another strong push that's out there right now. Oh, the Trojans suck. Lincoln Riley needs to be fired. And I'm surprised the Charger fans aren't trying to fire Jim Harbaugh already, because he's only been there for an hour and a half and they're not great. So it is crazy. It's the easiest answer, and it's unbelievable.
Do you agree with me, Dave Roberts? Okay, what he is doing right now, he is managing this ball club in a way that no one understands. No one can understand how it is. It's people say, "Oh, it's easy to win a World Series when you have like basically a murderer's row lineup like the Dodgers do." But you know what? It's hard because there are a lot of egos and personalities. And you know what? Everybody's pulling on the same rope. Everybody's pulling on the same rope right now. I mean, it's, Gavin Lux, I don't know. He is an absolute knucklehead sometimes. I mean, he with the plays to the letting the ball go on the tag play in that inning, he got the perfect throw from Teoscar Hernandez to tag. And he put the tag down in plenty of time, and he knocked the ball away. At that point, as a second baseman, in enough time, I use it as a catcher's mitt almost. Get my hand in there and put the ball down and just be safe. The other and the throw to home plate, give Will Smith an opportunity to make a tag on a fielder's choice. I mean, those are two huge plays that Gavin Lux made. Sometimes you have to execute. Players have to execute. When they don't, they blame the manager.
Yeah, I thought that play at second base, they should change that rule. I feel like it should be close to the NFL touchdown rule, not the reception rule, where ball's in the glove. If you touch the guy,
right.
He's out. He's out. It's just like crossing the goal line. You only have to cross it for a second. The second you touch him, you don't have to, continuation of the ball in the glove. And speaking of balls in the glove, have you ever seen anything like what happened in right field with Mookie Betts? Have you ever seen that? Is only something that would happen in New York or maybe Philadelphia.
That was the most gangster play a fan has ever made during a baseball game. And you know what? He's going to be celebrated on New York Sports Radio tomorrow. New York Sports Radio is going to hold this man up as like, you know what? He fought for his team. And it's absolutely sickening, the level of, I mean, people have no shame, man. That was horrible. Crazy. That was borderline, that was borderline abuse. That was criminal what he did. Like, just to hold his glove and physically take the ball out of the glove. That was so gangster. I'm boggles my mind.
I have to admit that I was like, why didn't the Dodger fan do that when Mookie hit the home run to left field in Profar? Like, well, that's what Dodger fans should do. Yeah, come on. Like,
they were the opposite.
Right.
Dodger fans were like, "Are you okay? Are everything okay?" So nice.
Yeah. Well, Dave, we got tomorrow to get it done. It's going to be tough with their ace on the mound and Garrett Cole, but Flaherty's a gamer, and I like our chances. I appreciate you jumping on, buddy. It's always a pleasure to talk Dodger baseball with you, and we will have, as I like to say with all my buddies that are Dodger fans, we always say before every game, positive thoughts, which is what we'll do from now until tomorrow at 5:08.
Amen, brother. Have a good one, my man.
Take care. Say hi to the fam. See you later. That is Dave Singer, formerly of ESPN LA, now at the NFL Network. Always fun to talk baseball with him. A little late on the break, so let's hit it right now, and we'll come back and get into some of the details of the early part of this game before it got out of hand. It's the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. Today's episode of the Locked On Dodgers Postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. Live bets are the best. You got to check them out if you have a hunch or if you feel like something is being overlooked by the odds makers. Jump on the FanDuel app and place a bet on it. It works out and to your benefit and helps you win money more often than not. But you just got to know what you're doing at that point in time. It can get risky in the middle of the game, but you can also view the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Visit FanDuel.com and join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. It's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Well. Game 5 tomorrow after the Yankees get on the board, 11-4. You have to give the Yankees a little bit of credit here. They didn't go down quietly. They didn't phone it in. The fact is that when teams are down 3-0 in the World Series, generally they just kind of cash in their chips, roll over, and go home, series over. This is the first time a team down 3-0 has won game 4 since 1970. It just doesn't happen. I mean, look, it's never happened that a team has come back from down 3-0, which gives me confidence and faith that the Dodgers are not going to be that team that allows it to happen. They are a good team. They're battling. They're a little banged up. Yes. And I put that mainly on Shohei at this point. I don't think Mookie Betts is banged up. I think he's 100% and continuing to produce. Freddie Freeman is obviously, we haven't even talked about Freddie Freeman setting a World Series record, his 6th consecutive World Series game with a home run. I believe the record is for a home run in 4 consecutive in the same World Series, which is what he did today to give the Dodgers a 2-0 lead on a slider, hit that to the short porch again. And then shortly thereafter, in the next frame, Mookie Betts was accosted by a Yankee fan. I couldn't tell if the guy on the right of Mookie was trying to help Mookie or his buddy that he was sitting next to. The bottom line was they were both escorted out, which has to really suck. Or maybe it doesn't for them, that we're all talking about them and they're going to be on TV and people will know who they are. We'll probably know their names. The way we know Jeffrey Meyer's name and the guy in Chicago, who I'm forgetting his name right at the moment. He's actually more infamous than Jeffrey Meyer. But the fact is, those guys are probably loving it in spite of the fact that they were escorted out after paying thousands of dollars to be in the front row down the right field line there. So it was just remarkable. Something I never seen before. It's like they're literally trying to rip the glove off of Mookie's hand and split open the glove and pull the ball out as if that would be like, oh no, he didn't catch it. The other guy was grabbing Mookie's right hand. I don't know if he was trying to, it seemed like he was trying to put his right hand towards the glove or something. I don't know. It was remarkable and audacious and just brazen and out of control all at the same time. Craziness on a very high level, but fortunately the umpires got it right away and they called him out, and that was that. But the Dodgers gave up that grand slam, Daniel Hudson, to Volpe, the youngest player, catcher, youngest shortstop to hit a grand slam in the World Series, or the youngest player to hit a grand slam in the World Series or something. I don't know what it was, but Volpe was, look, the bottom line with the Yankees is they're all due. They're all ice cold. You know, you could look at up and down that lineup and say every one of these guys was due. Wells was due to hit a home run. They were all due. So I'm not terribly surprised. They've all been very cold and have not been hitting the ball or putting the ball in play. So it was they were bound to come around at some point, especially when you got your low leverage arms in there. I've never been, Daniel Hudson to me has always been a hold your breath pitcher when he comes into the game. So the fact that it was early in the game, I thought maybe they'd get away with it, but they didn't. The fact that they drew to within one was a positive factor. But hitting with runners in scoring position tonight, 1 of 7. Ohtani 0 for 1, Edman 0 for 1, Will Smith 0 for 1, Mookie 0 for 2, and Freddie 1 for 2. So Freddie was the only one that got a hit with runners in scoring position tonight, and that was the home run. The thing is that the bullpen day just didn't work out. They had their chances. They just couldn't get a clutch hit when they needed one. And Shohei Ohtani has looked bad. And this is before he popped his arm out of the socket. He's been offering it bad pitches. He's been off balance. You throw him something down and away, which is his cold zone, and he swings at it. It just feels like he's pressing too much. I don't know what the heck is going on with Max Muncy. I mean, he's all off balance and out of sorts and not even making contact. 0 for this World Series and 178 in the postseason. So my first move, if I'm Dave Roberts for tomorrow, is to move Kike into third base and put probably Andy Pages in center field. And then that way, you've still got a bat in there that is capable of making contact, which I'm not sure Max Muncy is right now. He is just all out of sorts. Gavin Lux hasn't looked good. Leadoff double off a slider in the second, his first hit since the divisional series. Didn't get a hit in the championship series or the World Series. And then Edmonds shortly thereafter, a line drive. Ball was hit hard, but he hit it right into the glove of Anthony Rizzo. So a little bad luck there. And then they got some good luck, which we'll tell you about after the break. Volpe was all over the place. Not always good. I guess when it's all said and done, he was the star of this game, without a doubt, a double and a home run, but had one shaky play early in the game that I think had a lot of us going, that's going to come back to haunt them. And unfortunately for Dodger fans, it did not. It's the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also listen wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. That's where you find Jeff and Vince breaking this game down, and they do it Monday through Friday. You check them out as your first listen, and then come join me here as your second listen, and we appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. All right, tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers postcast also brought to you by PrizePicks. Of course, PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. It's the best place to get real money action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded prizes. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 to 6 players on 2 separate teams and win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long at PrizePicks. PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play just 5. You don't even have to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. PrizePicks, you can download the app or you can go to their website. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app, use the code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 instantly after you play your first app. Or you play your first, what's it called? You play your first lineup. Yeah, lineup. Make your first selection. It's PrizePicks. Run your game. So the Dodgers fall, Yankees get on the board after an 11-4 win. Dodgers still lead the series comfortably, 3-1. I know everybody wants to get on Dave Roberts about this game that, he cost them the game with his moves on the mound. I'm sorry. We wouldn't be here without Dave Roberts. As I've said many, many times, the fact that the Dodgers are in the World Series and up 3-1 is because of Dave Roberts and because the decision makers above Dave Roberts apparently have allowed him to manage this team like a baseball team, like a manager. It's not always based on statistical averages. But when it is, he's pulled the right cord more often than not. And that is credit to all of the other guys that are there supporting him. So the fact that the Dodgers have come in with a, to me, superior bullpen, and that has a bullpen that has executed, is really the reason that we're here. Obviously, the offense has been locked in on the back of Freddie Freeman getting clutch hits for 4 consecutive games. Everything has been going in their direction. And look, that is, as Dave and I just talked about in the first segment, without a fourth starter and winning games on bullpen days when most teams couldn't even imagine how to do that. So the Dodgers are in the right place right now. And look, tomorrow, the favorite will be the Yankees because they have Cole on the mound, and, Flaherty on 4 days rest. Last time out wasn't as good as he was his first start of this series. So that gives the advantage to the Yankees. And, obviously they're the home team. So that's another thing that's working in their favor. But the bullpen being set up and ready to go puts things in a good spot for the Dodgers without a doubt. But here's that Volpe play that was absolutely crazy, where I thought this is, they mentioned it in the broadcast that this was a capsule of the entire series for the Yankees. The catcher Wells comes up and smokes one to center field that was about a foot from getting out. And Kike Hernandez made a fantastic play to get the ball in, but Volpe, who was at second base, wasn't sure if Kike was going to catch it, so he wasn't really even halfway. So the fact that he didn't score was remarkable. He ultimately did score on a fielder's choice right after that to make it 2-1, but that was just like, what in the hell is he thinking? An absolutely brutal mental breakdown from him. But shortly thereafter, Hudson loaded the bases. That was in the third with 1 out, and Volpe hit the grand slam. He also had a double later. It was a good night for him. I look up and down the Yankees lineup. I still see Soto struggling. I still see Aaron Judge struggling. Joe and John really wanted to say this line drive to left off of Honeywell late in the game when it was a very low leverage or garbage time, as I like to call it in basketball. Oh, this is going to bust Judge out because Honeywell threw him a cheese fastball up and in, and Judge turned on it. Look, Judge still didn't strike out tonight. I give him credit for that, but still is lost. Chisholm only 1 hit. Stanton was 0 for. Rizzo was 0 for. Look, it was Volpe and Wells tonight. Can those guys keep it up tomorrow? Maybe, possibly. Like Torres just 1 hit. Although that was the home run late in the game, again, off of Honeywell. So I don't look at the stuff off of Honeywell and go, wow, that guy's terrible. He needs to sit. Like, why is he in the game? Honeywell is in the game to be a punching bag. As I said, Roberts threw him to the wolves, right? That's what it was for. Just go out there, give up your pound of flesh, get us out of here, and we'll go home and lick our wounds tonight, and we'll be right back here tomorrow with a yet another opportunity to win the World Series. A better opportunity. I don't think that Roberts had many options. Sure, maybe he could have mixed up the rotation as opposed to bringing Hudson in second, but what's the other tonight? Here's who pitched. Kasparius started, who was fine. Maybe you could have started Landon Knack and then brought Kasparius in the second. Kasparius went 2, gave up 1 run on 1 hit, walked 3, but for all intent and purpose, got out of it okay. Hudson obviously gave up the grand slam. Knack went 4 innings, gave up 1 run on 2 hits. He was very good. And Brett Honeywell got roughed up, but the game was over at that point. So I don't know what other options he had. I mean, you could sit here and cry over spilt milk. You could play Monday morning quarterback and go, oh, Dave Roberts didn't pull the right strings today with the pitching staff. Okay. It's happened before. It happened in the Mets series. I just don't see the Yankees winning 4 in a row. I'm sorry. Anything's possible, but I don't see it. Again, for those of you who didn't hear me say it, the Dodgers have lost 4 games in a row 2 times this year. It was in the first half of the season. One of the streaks included that 3-game sweep in Philadelphia to the Phillies, who at the time were absolutely red hot and locked in. The other one was before that. So even earlier in the season, maybe late April, early May. We could look it up if you want, but it's not important. The point is that they haven't lost 4 games in a row in the second half of the season, even one time. I know this is the World Series and things are different, but do you really honestly think that Flaherty, Yamamoto, and Walker Buehler are all going to get roughed up? The probability of that happening is slim to none. All of those guys performed very well last time out, and they are all big game pitchers. Let's not forget that Yamamoto has an MVP. I would say Flaherty is the one that's probably the most vulnerable tomorrow. But then if they lose tomorrow, you come home, you got to win 1 of 2 in LA. And they don't have Cole for any of those games. And the Dodgers have beat up the rest of the Yankees starting pitching. They got to heal today. Game 2, the starter was out early. Yesterday, Schmidt went 2 2/3. Rodon only survived 3 1/3, giving up 4 runs on 6 hits. Those guys are all vulnerable. So all of you naysayers that are caught up in the moment and frustrated that you're not celebrating with champagne right now, take a deep breath, relax. It'll be fine. Victor's been hot all night, typing in all caps. Do the Dodgers not believe in pitch outs once in a while? What is a pitch out, Victor? I don't know what a pitch out is. Oh, a pitch out. A pitch out. That's a very good question. Do they not believe in pitch outs? To get a runner stealing? A pitch out is kind of, when's the last time you even saw a pitch out at all? Ever? I mean, I haven't seen a pitch out in 5 years, if not 10. It's a very good question. I don't know. The Yankees now know that they can run on the Dodgers. Okay, fine. I feel bad for Victor. He's really mad. He's just ticked off. He needs to vent. Go outside and scream. Just go out in your front yard, Victor, or your backyard and scream F as loud as you can and slam a beer, like shotgun a beer if you drink. If you don't, then, get a pillow and scream into it or punch your couch or something. It's going to be fine, Victor. It's going to be okay. We're fine. The Dodgers are set up. They are not going to forget. They didn't come into this game with a lackadaisical attitude. We heard Kike talking about it. They talked about it during the pregame. The Dodgers were like, don't tell me about winning a World Series right now. We haven't done it yet. Once we do, then we can talk about that. We still have one more game to win. This isn't over yet. They were locked in and focused today. They were playing this game like they were down 0-3. They just didn't have the pitching today. But it was good enough. It was good enough at times. Like, forget about what Honeywell did. Forget about it. The 5 runs that Honeywell gave up. 6-4 is the final of this game. Don't get all down in the dumps over those last 6 runs that Honeywell surrendered. It's not important, okay? It's not. It's really not. Money in the bank for the Dodgers. Flaherty coming back tomorrow. Flaherty's a gamer. He's going to be ticked off. Chip on his shoulder. It's going to be a heck of a battle. It'll be a fantastic game. I can't wait to watch. Look, a sweep would have been nice, but it wasn't meant to be. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. It would have been, by the way, if you were wondering, it would have been the 22nd sweep in the history of baseball. We'll finish on a note from Jesus. It's like that Mets game. Honeywell was the sacrificial lamb. All pure good pitchers are rested. You can't stop a storm that was brewing with the Yankees. Amen. I agree with you, Honeywell. Jesus. Honeywell he's just a punching bag for this bullpen, right? He is an innings eater. Go out there. We're not sending any high leverage arms. The fact is that we're all set up now. And even if they lose tomorrow, which I don't believe they will, Dodgers are in the driver's seat for the final 2 games in LA, Friday and Saturday. But let's not worry about that. Let's get it done tomorrow and bring home the 8th World Championship for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Thanks for joining me. I hope we had a little cathartic moment here to vent, feel better about what's coming tomorrow. Again, 5:08. It'll be Flaherty versus Cole. I'll be on here, Locked On Sports LA, right afterwards to break it down for you. And hopefully we'll be celebrating with champagne or beers or both. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. Don't forget, you can listen wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. Thanks for listening and watching and your comments. We will talk tomorrow. Have a good night.